Yes. Alright, neat. Okay, we're good. We're good. And then all I have to do now is to see if the audio quality is any good. Otherwise, rest in fucking peace. Okay. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and put this over here so I can keep tabs on it while on the go. Can I move this out of the way? Yes, I can. Let's move this under here so that that is there. Okay. So, first things first, say hello to the crowd. And I'm going to be putting up video tutorials on this game on YouTube. Normally I do this shit on Twitch, but my Twitch is primarily occupied by Yu-Gi-Oh videos, so I'm going to be doing that shit here. So, first things first, we're gonna go ahead and start off by doing regular tutorials. Probably every day there's gonna be a new tutorial. There's a poll somewhere asking basically asking viewers if there's anything in particular they want to see, and whatever gets the highest vote will take precedence over whatever I decide to do. So for starters, we're gonna go ahead and look at the very first things you should be doing, thinking about, and deciding when you first start off with this game. Now, I'm a level 75 right now, so it's kinda... So like a lot of the shit that I say is probably not gonna really apply to you, but that's not the point. So for starters, first of all, you have to decide what class really appeals to you. The good thing about nowadays is that it doesn't matter what you initially pick, because you can change to absolutely any single class you want to on the fly without having to work and unlock anything. Now, I have most of my keys changed and or hotkeyed, so I'll do my best to be coherent with the default controls. I play with a controller, and my keyboard is entirely hotkeyed to every other thing that the controller can't handle. So, like I said, I'll do my best. So, first things first, Nephilim was actually a hunter when I first started playing this game. Then I decided that hunter wasn't for me, and I went to ranger. And ranger was fun for a time, but I also decided that wasn't for me. I went for hunter, I went for force, but it was like one of the most painful things ever, because it was not bad then, but basically you had to get to like level 60 before it started getting really good, and it was a really big grind. But nowadays it's all been balanced out, it's all good. So first things first, you have to decide what kind of class you want. So if you're the type of person who likes doing high damage casting magic, you're gonna want to go force. If you're a support lover, you're gonna want to go techer. Alternatively, you could also do, if you like a bit of combat, if you like doing combat and magic, then there's half a class that works in your favor for that. It's called bouncer. A lot of classes have multiple weapons that they can utilize to kind of modify the feeling. Nephilim is at least level 50 in like all of the classes, I believe, except for Braver. So she will be able to basically give you a rundown on every single weapon, every single class. We're gonna start off with the most complicated ones first. So when it comes to choosing your class, it also ties into what you're going to do with your mag. Your mag is basically... Okay, so you see this little... Let me get rid of my weapon. Okay, so you see this little dude right here, this little dragon that's floating beside my head? This is your mag. Your mag is basically a supplement to the strengths and abilities that you already have. For instance, let's say that by default I have a dexterity rating of 300. Well, if I put dexterity at 200 into my mag, because your mag can grow up to a maximum level of 200, one per every stat that you put into it. So if I devoted everything to dexterity, then it would feed my natural dexterity an additional 200 points, making it that much more, or making its dexterity my own as well. So basically this little guy adds to your abilities. So my Draco right now, I've devoted everything into maxing out its technique, so it reinforces my magic and makes it stronger. This way I hit harder with its ability. What's very important to note is that your mag's stats apply to your base stats. Now what this means is that when you go to equip a weapon, for instance, I'm a force, I'm a magic user, so my weapon, as you can see over here, requires T attack, technique attack, basically. This is your magic stat. This 1633 will add to your base technique, but it doesn't increase the base amount. It just basically gives you a total of whatever your base is plus this. This might not make sense, but it will in a second. So in order for me to even think about putting this on, like to use it, to wield it, it requires my dexterity stat to be at 475. I'm able to equip it because currently my base dexterity is 517. The thing about dexterity is that there is no single weapon that increases dexterity, unless of course you have like abilities and attachments and stuff like that, but those won't increase your base dexterity. So what this is always going to be the number you see. For instance, if I check my stats, you'll see that it's 617, but that's only because I have a skill that's increasing my dexterity, my total dexterity. So on my weapon, you'll see that it says my stat is currently 517, where in actuality over here it says that my stat is 617. My base is 517, but my total is 617 because I have something else increasing it. Now it'll say here my technique attack, my base technique attack is 1379. This is because I currently don't have a weapon equipped. I have nothing really boosting it, but without my mag, if I unequip my mag and I go check my stats, it drops by 200 points, as you can see here. So the mag increases your base stats, which allows you to equip stronger items sooner. So if you're playing a Braver, for example, I'd even say if you're playing a Braver or a Bouncer, I'd suggest using Dexterity mags, because Dexterity, for Bravers, 100% Dexterity is the go-to stat to equip weapons. So we're going to go ahead and, do I actually have a Braver weapon on me? I'm not sure if I do, but I can check. Yeah, okay, so we have the red katana right here. So this requires a dexterity rating of 389. Mine is currently 517. So technically speaking, I could equip it. The problem is that I am not the proper class. If you go over to the second tab, it'll say what classes you can that can equip it inherently. This is the sign for Braver. How do you know? Simple. You go to the class counter attendant, change class, and all of the symbols are right here, right beside their name. So if you are a Braver, you can equip katanas, you can equip bows. If you're a Bouncer, you can equip jet boots and dual blades. A Summoner, you can equip a tact. If you're a Hunter, swords, partisans, or a lance if you prefer, and wired lances. A Fighter can equip daggers, knuckles, or gauntlets if you prefer, and some other third thing, dual blades. It's basically like a double-sided blade. Rangers can equip rifles and launchers, rocket launchers, whatever you want to, basically rocket launchers. Gunners can equip rifles and twin machine guns. Forces can equip staffs and Talus. It's basically like this. If you've ever seen the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, it's basically you have a dual disc and you basically pull out a card and throw it at someone, and you can cast magic from that object, from that card. It's a gimmicky kind of weapon. There are people who use it, and it's not a terrible thing, but it really comes down to play style. If it's your sort of thing, like, you can do some really cool shit with that. You can if you're going for the manual aim, you can aim up in the air, chuck that shit, and then cast a lightning spell that just nukes everything below at a really wide range. So it's a really cool gimmicky thing, but like I said, it's gimmicky, so it's not my thing. Techers they cannot equip wands, but they can equip taluses. So for instance, if you want to buff a party long range, you can chuck the card or the object at your team. You can charge a healing spell or a buffs or an attack increase spell or defense spell and heal everyone from a long distance. You don't have to be right up in their faces like a force would have to. Well, I mean, a force technically doesn't have to because they can also equip taluses, but you get the idea. So, you know, it has its advantage over the rod, but the rod generally does more damage when casting. The other thing that they can equip is wands. Wands are basically a melee kind of thing. Wand is kind of a bad term for it. It's more of like a melee catalyst for magic. So you can have like a small scythe, or you can even have like a sword technically. Like, it depends on what the weapon is, but basically, it has basically melee range. Its attack stats are pretty much even. So its attack, its strike, its physical attack and magical attack are pretty much even. And with the proper skill setup, they're capable of causing micro explosions that can deal status effects to whatever you're smacking. It's pretty popular among those who like beating and casting, and it's also the go-to for supporting characters. Next you have Braver. Again, like I said, katanas, well actually I haven't said it, but they can equip katanas and bows and arrows. The thing is that what you have to realize is that if you pick Braver, you can technically play both, but you're gonna need to devote yourself to using one of them. So for instance, if you just happen to like katana a little more, then what you're gonna want to do is focus purely on doing the maximum amount of damage you can with the katana. You can still use the bow, but your strength is gonna be with your katana. Vice versa, if you want to use the bow, focus on the bow. Have a skill tree that reflects and powers the bow. You can't really do both. You can, but you're gonna have to do it one at a time. And you're gonna need to pay 300 AC, which is, I don't know, like $3 I guess, in order to have 2 mags. Actually no, if you're playing Braver, they all use dexterity, so you can get away with using 1 mag. But if you really want to push out the extra damage, you're gonna need more than 1. Bounces are pretty much the same thing. They have a melee and a casting style. So the melee is the dual blades. Very powerful stuff. Very useful. It's pretty fun to do. But in my opinion, the best of the two is the jet boots, because they're a very highly specialized category of weapon that allows for casting and elemental, physically elemental abuse, which is pretty cool. I'm also going to show you guys like builds, like my favorite builds, and like, you know, how they combo well together. For instance, with the jet boots and bouncer, my personal favorite combo is bouncer main and braver subclass, primarily because weak stance increases the damage you do to all elemental weaknesses by 40%. So with the class combo that I came up with, you can have a total of 190% constant bonus damage to everything that has an elemental weakness, which is pretty cool, because like everything has an elemental weakness. Moving on, we have summoners that are only able to equip tacts. This is basically your Pokemon trainer class. So you get an egg, you hatch it, you level it up, you have it battle your opponents. and it eventually learns new abilities and gets stronger. It's practically Pokemon. I can show you guys all about it because, as you can see, I specialized to a degree, quote unquote, in Summoner, Techer, and Force. Those are primarily my main classes, and yeah, so I can show you quite a bit about those. So now that you choose a class, you'll also see that there's like something that's standard. There's a melee weapon that's standard amongst all of those. Those are gun slashes. Those are primarily just for fun. You can attempt to go make it an endgame thing. It's probably not going to work, but hey, who's to stop you? If you're really dedicated on doing that, you can probably do it. So, you know, I'm just not going to tell you to try it, and I'm not going to tell you that it's a good idea. I'm not going to tell you it's a bad idea, but I'm not going to tell you it's a good idea either. Alright, so once you've decided what class you are, you'll need to learn how to feed your mag. The most important thing is if you're playing a class such as Hunter or Fighter, then you're going to want to naturally increase your strike attack, because all of the weapons will be using strike attack. So the more strike attack you have, the easier it'll be to equip it. For instance, there's one of the most popular pieces of armor called units at the moment are Psyches. The Psyche class units basically give you a fuck ton of casting power. So basically PP, mana, or whatever you want to call it, gives you a fuck ton of that. So you can check their bonus. You can check their bonuses. Equipment info here. Set bonus. Okay, so okay, so my Psyches give me 25 additional photon points, 60 strike attacks, basically 60 in all 3 attacks, and plus 80 dex. So that gives you a lot. Actually, I think that's just for my weapon, though. I'm not sure. No, that's this. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so that gives me a nice bonus to my my PP. Your PP is basically equivalent to basically the more PP you have, the more damage you're doing, because you don't have to like stop and take a breath and be like, okay, I gotta recharge my magic, gotta recharge my magic, gotta recharge my magic. The more PP you have, the more damage you're doing, because you're not spending time charging your magic or recovering your mana. You'll notice that I have a lot of PP. That is because your skill tree allows you to, or certain trees allow you to invest by increasing your mana amount. So plus 10 here, plus 2 here, and then for my subclass, plus 20. So I get a plus 32 boost from my class alone, my class choices alone, as well as plus 25 for my units. All of these can be, I'm gonna go into more depth about that stuff later. For now, we're just gonna keep it nice and simple. So if you're gonna be playing a Hunter, then this is the stat that you're gonna want to increase. You'll notice, however, every time you want to you'll notice that when you want to go ahead and, well, actually that's not gonna work because this one's already max level. So when you're going to want to increase the level of your striking, you're going to have to be really careful. As you can see, the dominant stat is striking, so it's going to increase striking a lot. It's a melee weapon, it's going to increase striking, but it also increases dexterity. You got to be careful about that, because you don't want to put levels into dexterity, you want to put levels into only this. I accidentally fed a ranged weapon onto this. It used to be irreversible, it's reversible now, but it's gonna cost quite a lot. So you're gonna have to be careful about that. I'll show you exactly how much it does. So we're gonna go ahead and feed this melee weapon to my mag. Gives me a level there, increases its level there, and you see if I go to feed it again, it's gonna put this over the threshold, which is something I really do not want. The way to circumvent this is with room items. You can technically use anything, but your primary focus is you're going to want to use stuff that boosts strike and lowers dexterity. 4-star room items will do that. They'll increase your strike and lower your dexterity. 5-star ranged minus dexterity. 6-star plus technique minus dexterity. Naturally, well, I mean, they're not actually, all of them are pretty relatively cheap to come by. The best way I recommend is to save up 100,000 Meseta, which isn't hard in this day and age. You go to the Visi phone right here, player shops, you enter your password, player shops, item search, and then you go to category. You want to go all the way down to room goods, set rarity. So if you're a hunter, you'll go here, set by price. You go here, you'll grab 99. That should last you quite a while. It's not going to last you the entire trip, but it'll last you a while. So then you go ahead and grab that. I'm going to go ahead and grab, I'll grab 5. Same principle for the other ones. You just increase the rarity based on whether you're a ranged, a melee, or a magic type class. Next, we're going to go back to our mag menu, and we're going to go ahead and lower that dexterity. So that's the mushroom chair. Wait. That's a 5-star. Whoops. Alright, I screwed up a little bit. Alright, so you gotta be careful about that. It seems like you can't really get 4-star weapons on the shop. So what you want to do is, if you can't find the rarity that you're looking for, you just have to go all the way back here. Room shop attendant Oscar. You talk to him, buy items, and you'll see 3-star, no good, 3-star, no good, 4-star. This is what we want. So this is actually going to be the most expensive out of the other two, and it also is the least rewarding. Technically, it sucks because you got to pay a lot more to get a lot less. There might be an alternative though. Let's check the fun shop. Room goods. Alright, so kinda SOL. Unfortunately, you gotta shell out a bit more if you're a melee class, but trust me, believe me, it's worth it. At the end, you're gonna be glad that you put all that cash into it because it's worth it. Sword Hunter, honestly, is one of my favorite classes now. It is so much fun, and it's just awesome. So now that that's set up, I'm gonna tell you pretty much your entire process of what you're gonna do. The idea is to start by playing. First of all, the first thing you want to do is you want to play episode 4. Why episode 4? Because basically what Sega decided to do in its infinite wisdom was to force you to go through some old bullshit just so you can actually get access to really powerful methods of gameplay. For example, feature quest is something that you can only unlock once you've unlocked Tokyo, which of course requires you to be in episode 4 to even think about doing something like that. If you haven't unlocked Tokyo, you don't get these things. What's so special about these things? I'll try and show you as soon as I possibly can. So first, once you clear them, you get a little gift box at the end. You go back into the camp ship, there's a gift box waiting for you. You can open it up and you can get a lot of useless shit. But you could also you have the chance, a very small chance, of getting a gold Tokyo key, which is something that basically will give you, I want to say, 1,000,000 experience. Now, I'm level 75, okay? This is kind of a bad example because I'm about to level up. But generally, it requires 1.7 million experience for me to go from 0 experience to maximum experience and level up, or hit my cap and be rewarded for it. So 1,000,000 basically, I want to say 7 out of 70% of my experience is gained in one bonus mission. And the bonus mission takes about 1.4 minutes to complete. And everything pretty much dies in one hit. It's basically, it is free experience. So it's very, very useful for power leveling. The only trouble is now it's extraordinarily hard to get. And if you just so happen to disconnect after cashing in your key, well, I'm afraid that key is lost and you're probably gonna get a bit salty, but if that shit goes off and you YOLO your experience boosts, you're gonna be reaping in the rewards like nothing else. So that's all the time we have for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, vote on what you'd like to see next. Thank you for watching.